Hey guys, Dave again. Welcome back to the channel. So in this one, I thought we'd talk about top 10 things that are trying to kill you in Wyoming. So I see a ton of you in the restaurant. Love running into you guys in the restaurant. You're mentioning coming here, trying to come back here, just all around excited to come to Wyoming. And I think you should. It's amazing. So it's a lot like Australia. It's big, it's beautiful, it's wild, and there is a lot of stuff trying to kill you. So let's run through this top 10 list. Some are obvious, some aren't. Well, let's get into it. Okay, so let's get into this list. Stick around at the end. There may be some bonus items. Anyway, so I'm going to break this down into some categories. In our first category, it's going to be animals that are trying to kill you in Wyoming. So no Wyoming things are trying to kill you video would be complete without number one, bears. Okay, so bears are pretty dangerous. So we have two types of bears here in Wyoming. We've got the black bear and we've got the grizzly bear. The black bears generally pretty much leave you alone. They're not the ones you really want to worry about. I mean, don't get me wrong. You don't want to be leaving tasty treats in your tent at night while you're sleeping in black bear country. But the grizzly bears are the ones that really attack the most people. They're very territorial. They're big. They're huge. They're strong. So go watch my unbearable situation video if you're interested in bears and how they're killing people and sort of the population's exploding. That one does a great job breaking down bears. And if you want to see how to survive a bear attack, go watch my best bear gun video where I actually survive a near-death bear experience in that video. So two great examples on more updates on bears. But at number one, most dangerous thing that'll get you, bears. Okay, so at number two, we have buffalo. Sometimes referred to as bison. You kind of hear the names used interchangeably around here. But hands down, super dangerous animal. If you've run into me at the restaurant at all, there's a 900% chance you've heard me tell you the story about the time my truck and some buffalo became friends, loosely. If you haven't, maybe I'll tell it one day on this channel. It's actually one of the ways that I ended up in Wyoming. So super fun story. But anyway, so every year the locals joke about, and we see on the news what we call a Turon coming to town, getting too close to one of these buffalo and just getting completely rolled, chucked in the air, or just chased. So don't be the guy or the gal that comes to town and gets all snuggly with a buffalo. They don't want to be friends with you, especially during the rut. These guys are dangerous. They will gore you to death. They will trample you to death, and they do not care about you. So go ahead, watch out for the buffalo. At number two, buffalo, dangerous, stay away. Okay, at number three, we have wolves. So for me, wolves are far and away the most dangerous one that we've talked about so far. I've been camping multiple times in the backcountry and actually had wolves come into camp. So once I had one come in while I was sleeping, sniffing the tent, and it actually patrolled around the outer edge of the campsite. We could catch glimpses of it with our flashlights and hear it moving around in the woods. And another time I was up in a remote meadow, climbed up the hill at sunset to watch the sunset, and I watched the wolf come in and work its way through my camp. So multiple times I've had wolves come in. They are super dangerous. If you didn't see my video on biking Yellowstone, I was just up there back in the spring and talking to multiple people that lead tours and involved in tours and just all things park. And what they're telling me is these wolf packs are getting huge. They're taking down countless elk. They've actually learned how to take down buffalo now, bison, which we saw in number two. So number three is hunting number two, working its way up the danger chain, in my opinion. If we cut over and we look at the website here, this is YellowstoneWolf.org. This is the Wapiti Lake Pack, which is running 20 strong now. If you look, I mean, they added countless wolves here in 2020 alone. These things are growing just leaps and bounds. So these packs are getting huge. They're taking down huge animals, and you do not want to get caught out in the backcountry and one of these things gets your scent and gets hooked on you. Like, it's no bueno. to quote some Spanish there. So you can see these are former members of the pack. Some have died out, some have moved on. This Wapiti Lake Wolf Pack was actually started by 755M. So he started this thing. Like I said, cool website. You can come in here. You can come check this out for yourself. We're not going to get into it now, but it breaks down how the pack formed and all that kind of stuff. Wolves are cool, dangerous. I definitely think we need to start curbing some of these things. A lot like the bears. Go watch the bear video. We're having very similar problems with wolves. But yeah, number 3, wolves. Watch out for these. Are dangerous. Oof. All right, on to number 4. Okay, so at number 4, we have mountain lions. Now, I was on the fence about whether or not I was going to include mountain lions in this one for a couple reasons. One, statistically, there haven't been a ton of deaths throughout history at the hands of a mountain lion. They're typically afraid of most things over like 90 pounds. I think size of a deer, give or take. But, you know, there have been a few deaths, so I figured we'd include them. And also, we have 2,000 mountain lions in Wyoming. So there's quite a few of them. They're around. So if we look at Wildlife Informer in Wyoming, we have an estimated 2,000 mountain lions. Now, they too are suffering at the hands of the gray wolf. So those bad boys are coming in here, killing off some mountain lions. They're also killing a bunch of the elk, which are a main food source for mountain lions. And then also there's been some increased hunting on mountain lions. Now, with all of that, every couple of years, we have a mountain lion that moves into town. We'll take small dogs. We'll get people's animals out of their yards. So not an uncommon occurrence. Now, we do live on the edge of wilderness, but there are enough mountain lions around that things get taken and disappear even within town. And that's not even counting if you get up closer to Yellowstone and what happens out there. So at number 4, mountain lions trying to kill you. Let's get to it. Okay, at number 5, this is where we start to get into like, not a fan of these next two. So at number 5, we have black widow spiders, Wyoming's most deadly spider. So definitely poisonous. Hasn't really killed a whole lot of people since 83. And by a whole lot of people, I mean hasn't killed anybody since 83. But if you get bit by one of these bad boys, expect 3 to 7 days of just agonizing pain, muscle spasms, abdominal cramps, just generally not a good time. And some symptoms can actually last for weeks. So look out for that. Maybe you get lucky. There are bites where they're just dry bites. The females are far and away the ones you want to watch out for the most. They have super large venom glands. Also why they're called widows. They tend to eat the heads off of their boyfriends once they're done Netflix and chilling. So anyway, at number 5, watch out for the black widow spider coming to your neighborhood trying to kill you in Wyoming. Okay, at number 6, we have rattlesnakes. So Wyoming actually has 2 types of rattlesnakes. One is the midget-faded rattlesnake, which I'll put up for you here. And then the other one is the prairie rattlesnake, which I'll put up for you here. So these things are no joke. They are mean. They are aggressive. They will absolutely try to bite you. So on no less than 3 occasions, I've come across rattlesnakes while being out and about in the backcountry or just out and about in the woods, if you will. So once I was fly fishing about a year and a half ago down by the river, just outside of town, coming up out of the river after finishing, and there was one underneath a rock right there on the bank, tried to get me. There was another time I was hiking Jim Mountain. So I was just starting out on the trailhead. There's an outhouse right there on the side. And as I went to go past the outhouse, the rattlesnake was actually just underneath the lip of the outhouse, curled up, started rattling, gave a little lunge. That one seemed like a fake charge, if you will. If it's snake's fake charge, I don't know, but it didn't really put its little rattlesnake heart into trying to get me. But so there was one there, and then the last one I was hiking Hart Mountain, and that one actually surprised me a lot. Came out of the grass, the tall grass there, right on the edge of the trail, and I was much higher. You know, I was halfway up the mountain. I thought I was well beyond rattlesnake territory, and that one came out and tried to get me. That one gave the full flight, but luckily I was doing a trail run that day. So rattlesnakes are legit. Watch out for them. They are plentiful in the state. Snake-proof gaiters are an option if you're really, really scared. Luckily, I've dodged that. They do have rattlesnake venom for your dog. Would highly recommend that if you move to Wyoming, get your dog vaccinated against rattlesnake bites. But number 6, rattlesnakes. Ugh. All right, let's get into number 7. Okay, at number 7, we're going to lump 2 together. We're going to go hot springs and volcanoes. So the volcano one's a little meh, but you know, it wants to kill you. It's just got to muster up a lot of energy to go ahead and do an eruption, at which point it wins everything. But let's talk about the hot springs. So the hot springs, there are some hot springs that you can get into, particularly around like Mammoth Campground. There's a great hot spring up there. Go get in that. It's right by the river. It's very nice. There's some down in Thermopolis that come out. So there are nice hot springs to get into, but do not be the person that goes to Yellowstone and is like, look at this hot spring, I'm going to get in. Probably not going to go well for you. Most of those are around 205 degrees. So every couple of years, you'll hear about they find some shoes next to a hot spring, never find the person. You get into these hot springs and you pretty much just boil off and you're done. It will not be a cool experience. It'll be a very hot experience, and that will be the end of you. Stay out of the hot springs unless they tell you can get into those. Very dangerous. Hot springs, not to be messed with. Trying to kill you at number 7. Okay, let's get into the next one. So at number 8, we have mountains and falling. And I know people are like, oh God, what? No, like, no, it's a very real thing. And the reason I tell you this, so if we take, and I'll give you an example. So every year, every other year, there's usually someone that falls and either dies, the horse dies, whatever. But if we look at the thoroughfare, which is the most remote stretch of land in the continental US. So basically to get into the thoroughfare, you go over this thing called the catwalk, this super narrow, very tight walkway. Every couple years, some horses fall, riders go with it. I mean, people die. You also have to understand a lot of people come to Wyoming to ice climb. There's a lot of mountain climbing, free climbing, all that kind of stuff happens in Wyoming. There's a lot of people at elevation on very steep terrain, and falling is a common occurrence here. So even the ground is trying to kill you. We've looked at animals. We've looked at insects. We've looked at reptiles. Like you name it, things are trying to kill you. And let's get into number 9. Okay, at number 9, we have avalanches. So avalanches are no joke out here. They're a real deal thing, whether you're backcountry skiing or my new favorite addiction, snowmobiling. Look for a bunch of videos, Wyoming snowmobiling, when winter rolls around. So, you know, taking an avalanche safety class out here is sort of a must if you're going to spend any time in the backcountry during the winter. It doesn't take but a millisecond for a giant slab of snow to break free. And those things coming down the mountain are just insane. There's so much power there. You're not going to outrun it. You're not going to get away from it. You're just going to get buried and suffocate. Dying in an avalanche is just no thanks. Don't want any parts of that. So definitely take the avalanche safety class. Definitely take it serious. It's a real thing. A ton of people die each year from this. It's a legit killer out here. Do not get caught out. Take your safety class. And let's get on to number 10. Okay, so at number 10, we have water hemlock. And I felt like we had to include a plant in here because this is a pretty deadly plant. So it's also sometimes referred to as cowbane or poison parsnip. And really that's what gets you. So it really resembles a couple of other edible flowers. And it's usually, that's what happens. They grow in a very similar location along streams. So people are out picking wild carrots or wild parsnip. They inadvertently get some of this. This stuff is highly toxic to humans. And if you get just a smidge too much of it, it will kill you. So watch out for water hemlock. I will put up a picture here, which very much resembles wild parsnip. So be very careful when you're out and about. Make sure you know your plants. If you're going to go pick some wild plants, just start munching. This is why I always say safer to eat beef and identify a cow. Plants get very tricky. Just eat beef and you'll be safe. That's all. Just keep eating meat. All right. So yeah, so that's our top 10 list. Let me know down in the comments what you guys agree with, don't agree with. I'm sure we'll get both sides of the spectrum. Hopefully you enjoyed this. It opened your eyes. You know what to watch out for now. But yeah, the gray wolves and rattlesnakes, watch out for those things. Dangerous. So I will catch you guys in the next one. Okay, so the first bonus item, things that are trying to kill you, looks like this. I call it February. So February in Wyoming is just insanely cold. You know, think -20 we had this year for like a good week and a half in February. I mean, cold. You know, generally here is really nice to live. I enjoy it. I'm normally in a hoodie. Time kind of ride that pretty much with the exception of summer. I'm always in a hoodie. But this February, I actually had to break out a coat and some long johns. Cold. Now, if you're traveling out and about, you're here in February, make sure you've got a really warm sleeping bag in your car or truck. I roll with a -35 bag in my truck. Keep some water, keep some food, have some tire chains, some ways to make fire, just some emergency supplies, especially in February. You get caught in a drift and you get caught out there. Freezing to death is a very real possibility. February in Wyoming will try to kill you. Be a snowbird. I don't know, go boogie on out to Phoenix for February. Just forget about this place for that month. Luckily, it's a short month, and then come back and get back to enjoying the place. But February will absolutely try to kill you in Wyoming. Watch out. Okay, bonus number 2. And this may be the deadliest thing on this list. And it is any vehicle with this number on its license plate. These things will make erratic, last-minute decisions, just make evasive maneuvers for no reason. They will come at you. You should treat these like the buffalo. Maintain a safe distance. Be prepared for anything. Just watch out. You do not know what these are going to do at any given moment. Several snowplow trucks die at the hands of these every year. They are not to be taken lightly. Watch out there. Be safe. I'll catch you guys in the next one.